七和，这件事说来话长，我慢慢与你解释。
A single word from a child's lips can shatter a world more effectively than any enemy blade. For General Feng Jinyue, the word daddy was the sound of 5 years of sacrifice turning into a cruel joke.
I stood there, the blood of the border still under my fingernails, watching the man I loved hold another woman's child. But before this house became a battlefield, it was built on a promise that felt like forever. I lived for that promise. Every scar I earned was a badge of honor I intended to bring home to Lu Mingyuan. I thought his love was my sanctuary, the only thing worth coming back for.
Victory finally brings her back to the capital. Not as a fragile bride, but as a legendary general ready to share her glory with her husband. But the gates of the Count's estate hide a truth more brutal than any battlefield.
I wanted to surprise him with the lifetime of glory I had won. I walked through those doors with a smile, never suspecting that the home I remembered had already been colonized by another woman.
The silence of the courtyard is broken by the sound of a child's laughter, a sound that chills Jinyue to the bone. She pushes open the door to find a domestic scene that feels like a mockery of her 5-year sacrifice.
The air left my lungs as I saw them. Lu Mingyuan, looking exactly as he did when I left, but with a child in his arms and his cousin by his side. The betrayal wasn't just a secret, it was a 4-year-old reality.
七和，这件事说来话长，我慢慢与你解释。
Instead of shame, the Lu family meets Jinyue with a wall of twisted logic. Her mother-in-law weaponizes filial piety, acting as if Jinyue is the one who failed the household by being away at war.
They had the audacity to claim this was for my own good, as if his infidelity was a selfless act to spare me from criticism. The hypocrisy in this room is thicker than the dust on my armor.
如此说来，夫君娶表妹与他生孩子，倒是在替我尽孝了。既如此，你为何不写信言明？
His promises now taste like ash. I was a fool to believe him.
真信，全都是虚情假意。我在阵前浴血杀敌，你在家中娶妻生子，如此纵情，不怕天打五雷轰吗？
The Lu family's greed knows no bounds. Even after breaking her heart, they expect her to use her hard-won military merits to pave the way for Lu Mingyuan's next promotion.
They want me to beg the emperor for his sake? They really think I'm still that naive girl who would do anything for a smile from this scumbag. They haven't realized that the woman standing before them is no longer their puppet.
如此如我，还想让我为他们求饶，简直恬不知耻！我从前怎么就没有发现他们竟这般无耻？依靠我父亲的军功，得来这仕途。你娶我，就是这个目的吧？
Jinyue decides that if her home has been defiled, she will be the one to tear it down. She returns to her courtyard not to mourn, but to reclaim her space with the same ruthlessness she used against enemy invaders.
If they want to play house in my residence, they can do it in the dirt. I'm clearing out the trash, starting with every single item that belongs to that mistress and her illegitimate son.
锦月，你太过分了！
When the spoiled child of the mistress attacks her, Lu Mingyuan tries to play the protective father, forgetting that his wife is the most dangerous warrior in the capital.
He thinks he can stare me down? He thinks his noble blood makes him a match for a general? I'll show him that a father's sins are paid for in blood, starting with the very spear he helped me win.
好啊，说的没错，这子不教父之过，那你就替他挨这枪吧。
One strike to remind him who actually holds the power in this marriage. This is just the beginning of his debt.
The humiliation continues as Jinyue spots her own dowry being worn by the mistress. The Lu family has been parasitically living off her wealth while treating her like an outsider.
My gold hairpin, my silk, they didn't just steal my husband, they stole my inheritance to deck out his lover. They call it family when they're stealing, but calculation when I want it back.
我不打他，打你吗？这不是我嫁妆里的金钗吗？怎么会戴在他的头上？
Tired of the lies, Jinyue goes searching for the one person who might still be loyal to her, her old wet nurse. She finds her in the dark corners of the estate, a victim of the Lu family's cruelty.
They didn't just betray me, they tortured the people I cared about to keep their secrets. Seeing Nanny like this was the final straw. The Lu family doesn't just deserve a divorce, they deserve total destruction.
Sunani reveals the full extent of the Lu family's depravity. They locked her away to rot, all while spending Jinyue's dowry to fund their new life together.
Every word from Nanny's lips is a nail in Lu Mingyuan's coffin. They thought my father was too far away to help, but they forgot that I am the weapon my father forged.
前脚离间，姑爷后脚就打着尽孝的名义娶了表姑娘，让表姑娘处在明德院，明目张胆地挪用少夫人的嫁妆。我几次想给你去送信，他们都拦下来了。后来，索性就将我关了起来。
I'm not just leaving this house. I'm going to make sure they have nothing left to call a home. I'll see the emperor, but not for Lu Mingyuan's sake. I'm going to take back my life.
The fire of revenge is now a cold, calculated flame. Jinyue sets her sights on the palace, knowing that her military service is the ultimate leverage.
是啊，我此次回来便不走了。我与他们的账，一定和他们算清楚。
At the Imperial court, the arrival of the female general causes a stir. Among the sea of officials stands Prince Ning, Xie Zhao, the only man who truly understands the warrior beneath the silk.
Walking into that hall, I felt the weight of every eye on me. They expected me to ask for a title for my husband. They have no idea that I'm about to rewrite the rules of the court.
With the strategic support of Prince Ning, Jinyue stuns the emperor and the court by requesting an official post for herself. She is no longer just a general's daughter, she is a power in her own right.
Vice Commander of the Palace Commandery, rank 3. I am now officially Lu Mingyuan's superior. I can't wait to see him kneel before me, not as his wife, but as his commander.
前司副都指挥使乃3品，比陆明远高上一级。如此一来，合力就容易多了。
After the audience, Xie Zhao drops hints of a long-held affection that Jinyue is too focused on revenge to fully grasp. The tension between them is a dangerous dance of politics and hidden feelings.
He says the person he loves is already married. I felt a pang of pity for him, never realizing that the married woman he was mourning was the one standing right in front of him.
我记得你好像就比我大2、3岁吧？这都25了，怎么还没有娶妃啊？
Back at the estate, Lu Mingyuan is still pathetically fishing for rewards, convinced that his wife's success is his own. He has no idea that the decree heading his way is a death sentence for his social standing.
He's so greedy, so sure of himself. He thinks the emperor's decree will be his ticket to the top. I'm going to savor every second of the moment his world collapses.
圣旨，那必然是大封赏。夫妇一体，我的荣光便是你的荣光。知道这个道理吗？忙着吧。
Oh, it's grand alright, Lu Mingyuan. It's the grandest slap in the face you've ever received. Just wait until you see who you're really married to.
The trap is set, and the scumbag husband is walking right into it. But when the truth of Jinyue's new rank comes out, will Lu Mingyuan surrender? Or will he resort to even darker schemes to keep his grip on her wealth? The real battle for the Count's manor has only just begun.
自然是要拿回我的嫁妆。
Now, Jinyue is ready to reclaim every cent they stole.
没有带在身上，也不急于一时。哎，到你父亲吃药的时间了，我得回去伺候了。你先回去啊。
Jinyue demands the warehouse keys from the greedy matriarch. Since the front door is locked, Jinyue decides to bring her own battering ram. She sends a cryptic gift to the only man in the capital, with enough power to back her play.
Xie Zhao owes me for more than just the military maps. I need men who don't answer to the Lu family, and I need them by dawn.
Prince Ning, Xie Zhao, receives the message. He doesn't just send guards, he sends his elite shadows to ensure Jinyue's homecoming is unforgettable.
明日叫几个机灵一点的，路面少一些的，去东平伯府，听候风将军吩咐。
The next morning, the peaceful courtyard of the mistress, Feng Jinyue, is shattered. Jinyue doesn't knock, she invades.
Watching those servants scramble was the first breath of fresh air I've had in this suffocating manor. They thought I was a guest in my own home.
劝你离远点，省得伤你。
Soon Annie begins the inventory, and the numbers are devastating. Half of the 10-mile dowry has vanished into the Lu family's greedy pockets.
My father's life savings, spent on silk robes for a mistress and tea for a failing earl. I'm taking it all back, even if I have to strip the paint off the walls.
把这些都搬出去吧。对了，照着嫁妆清单一样样清点，拿了我的都给我吐出来。
Lu mother rushes in, shrieking about family and unity. She actually has the nerve to claim that Jinyue's wealth belongs to her son by default.
She tried to use the law to shackle me, acting like marriage is a contract to become a beggar. I faced barbarians with more honor than this woman.
我的意思很简单，我的东西，那便只能是我的。任何人都休想效仿。
Lu Mingyuan finally returns, puffing out his chest like a lord. He thinks his presence alone will make Jinyue drop the boxes and apologize.
He asked if I was stirring up trouble, as if reclaiming my stolen property is a hobby. The man has the self-awareness of a brick.
这说的是何话？这些东西本来就是我的，闹什么呀？
The inventory reveals the ultimate insult. The missing golden pearls aren't just gone, they're being worn by the mistress right in front of her.
My mother's hairpins on that woman's head, my family's silk on her back. It wasn't just theft, it was a deliberate attempt to erase me from my own life.
我不仅要供姑妹嫁，孝敬公婆，供养夫君，这我还得替夫君供养妻儿。他头上戴的，脖上挂的，手上戴的，身上穿的，不就是我丢失的金簪、珠链、玉镯、锦缎吗？
Lu Mingyuan plays his final card, the law. He sneers that a woman can't sue her husband without facing prison herself, and since her father is at the border, she is helpless.
He thinks I'm a lone woman because my father isn't here to hold my hand. He's about to find out that I don't need a man to fight my battles. I am the battle.
冯金月，别不识抬举，我乃4匹侍郎，一妇人并无素权。想要提告我，得由你族中男子代劳，且自身也得徒2年。别忘了，你在京城根本就没有族亲。再者，我要是休了你，你什么都带不走。
The tension is broken by the arrival of an imperial decree. Lu Mother immediately starts fantasizing about a promotion for her son, ready to gloat one last time.
She was already planning which noble lady to marry him off to once I was kicked out. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost.
这么多赏赐，陛下还是看重我伯父啊！等着吧，待我儿加官进爵，必定休了你，另娶高门贵女。
The decree isn't just a reward, it's an earthquake. Jinyue is named the first female general and deputy commander of the palace commandery, outranking her husband.
The look on Mingyuan's face was worth every scar I earned in the trenches. He wanted a submissive wife. He got a superior officer.
奉天承运，皇帝诏曰：冯金月在边关立下赫赫战功，实乃巾帼英雄，特封大庆第1女将军之衔，赏黄金1000两，珠宝锦缎18箱，另准予冯金月之请求，授职殿前司副都指挥使，即日上任，钦此。
Lu Mingyuan tries to pivot, suddenly claiming he loves her unique spirit now that she has power. His hypocrisy is as transparent as glass.
1 minute, I'm uncouth for holding a spear. The next I'm unique. He doesn't love me. He loves the rank I just brought into his house.
寻常闺秀呆板无趣，不及你英姿飒爽。我爱的就是你的人中的他。
When Mingyuan threatens divorce again to regain control, Jinyue reminds him that divorcing an official requires a public hearing in front of the emperor.
I dared him to take his petty grievances to the court. Let the whole world see the man who tried to rob his wife. He went quiet real fast.
我如今可是有官职在身，你若想休了我，必须得上朝堂。陆侍郎要是有本事，可敢上朝堂与圣上与百官论上一论？
Jinyue orders her men to reclaim every single item. While Jinyue handles the manor, Xie Zhao is handling the politics. He is furious that the Lu family dared to touch her, and he's going for the jugular.
明远敢如此猖狂，想来是这些年过得太过顺遂了。对，收集陆明远错漏失职之处，交由御史台上奏弹劾。
At the palace commandery, Xie Zhao pulls Jinyue aside. His concern is no longer just professional, it's deeply personal.
He asked why I didn't tell him about the trouble at home. I told him I could handle it, but for a second, I actually felt like I didn't have to fight alone.
她可不一般呢，她可是东平伯府家的少夫人。哎，注意点啊！
Lu Mother plots to trap Jinyue with a child.
女人呐，心最是柔软，你待她好1分，她便惦念你10分；待她怀孕生下孩子，便有了软肋，日后便生不出脾气了，只能乖乖顺从，乖乖听话。她父亲远在边关，那京中又无祖老傍身，日后还不是任我拿捏。
The Lu family is betting everything on a night of forced intimacy, but Jinyue is already sharpening her blade for a different kind of separation. Will the scumbag seduction work, or is the Earl's manor about to face a general's full wrath? The real war for Jinyue's freedom has only just begun.
你别忘了我们母子3人就行。我不像姐姐，有做将军的父亲，自身还有官职，我除了你，可什么都没有了。
The Lu family is playing a dangerous game, thinking they can tame a general with a few sweet words and a locked door. Lu Mingyuan actually believes that moving into Jinyue's courtyard is a strategic promotion for himself.
He thinks my home is a trophy he can reclaim whenever he wants. He spent 5 years in a mistress's bed, and now he wants to play devoted husband because I have a rank? Not on my watch.
我的地方岂是他想来就来，想住就住的？扔出去！
Jinyue returns and immediately issues an eviction notice. The next morning, Lu Mingyuan tries to assert his authority over a piece of porcelain. He thinks his precious celadon teapot is more important than his wife's dignity.
He's worried about a teapot? Fine. If he loves it so much, he can watch it shatter along with his pride. I've broken enemy lines. Breaking his toys is child's play.
我不仅扔，我还要砸！
With the teapot in pieces, Jinyue draws a line in the sand. She orders her guards to treat her husband like the filth he is, effectively barring him from his own estate's best room.
He wants to use husband's rights as a shield? I'll use my rank as a sword. If he tries to force his way in, my guards have orders to treat him like a common intruder.
那就看你有没有这个本事了。阮秀，不许任何脏东西进我的房间。若是强入，只管给他打出。
After the trash is cleared, Jinyue demands a deep clean to scrub away the lingering stench of betrayal. But her real move is political. She's reaching out to the only man who can truly back her up, her father.
The Lu family thinks I'm isolated because my father is at the border. They forget that a general's daughter knows exactly how to call for reinforcements. This letter is the beginning of their end.
While Jinyue prepares her legal strike, the snakes in the side courtyard are brewing a darker poison. Feeling humiliated, Lu Mingyuan and his mistress, Feng Jinyue, plot to use a mind-clouding drug to force Jinyue into submission.
They can't win with logic, so they resort to chemicals. They think a drugged wife is an obedient one. They have no idea that I've survived battlefield poisons far worse than their petty kitchen concoctions.
我听说有一种酒，喝下便能叫人神思不明，浑身酥软，便是仙人也无半点抵抗之力。
At the palace commandery, a new headache arrives in the form of Luo Yihuan, the premier's spoiled daughter. She sees Jinyue not as a general, but as a rival for Prince Ning's attention.
This little girl thinks she can bark at me because of her family tree? I've faced barbarian hordes with more manners than this 6th missus. She's lucky I'm in a good mood.
挺漂亮可爱的一姑娘，可惜生了个狗脾气，逮谁咬谁。
The tension is cut short when Xie Zhao himself appears. He doesn't just stop the argument, he publicly sides with Jinyue, leaving his cousin humiliated and fuming.
Watching Xie Zhao shut her down was more satisfying than I'd like to admit. He doesn't just protect me, he respects the rank I've earned, unlike some people in my own house.
再这么胡闹，我让林默送你回府了。
Escaping the palace drama, Xie Zhao takes Jinyue to a tavern for a taste of the past. He remembers the smallest details, like her favorite pear blossom wine, from their days on the front lines.
5 years of war, and he still remembers my favorite drink. For a moment, sitting here with him, I feel like the general I was meant to be, not the shrew the Lu family tries to make me.
真怀念我们一起练功杀敌的日子。
The peaceful reunion is shattered when Lu Mingyuan bursts in, ready to play the wronged husband. But the moment he realizes he's yelling at Prince Ning, his bravado turns into a pathetic display of begging.
He came here looking for a scandal, but he found a death warrant. Watching him fall to his knees and stammer for mercy was better than any wine. The vice minister is nothing but a coward.
还请殿下恕罪，臣乃无心之失啊！
Even as he grovels, Lu Mingyuan can't hide his jealousy. He tries to question Jinyue's relationship with the prince, only to have his own dirty laundry aired in front of the most powerful man in the capital.
He has the nerve to talk about purity while he has a mistress and a secret child. I threw his own hypocrisy back in his face. If he wants to talk about embarrassment, he should look in a mirror.
你与表妹有情，也未曾告知我。若我早就知晓，也不会做那阻人姻缘的恶人。
Back at the manor, the humiliation at the tavern pushes Lu Mingyuan over the edge. He tries to use physical force to demand wifely duties, but he forgets that Jinyue is a trained commander, not a porcelain doll.
He tried to grab me? He's lucky I didn't snap his wrist. He thinks marriage is a license to be a predator. I reminded him very quickly that I am the one with the weapons in this house.
你要嚷嚷的天下皆知，那就到那个街上嚷嚷去，别在这里妨碍我。
The next day, Jinyue meets Xie Zhao with a calm that surprises even him. She isn't just venting about a bad husband, she's announcing a permanent tactical retreat from the Lu family.
I'm done playing house with a traitor. I told Xie Zhao my plan. Divorce. The shock on his face was priceless, but my mind is made up. I'm taking my life back.
昨晚你回去，陆明远没有为难你吧？
Xie Zhao realizes that Jinyue isn't just acting on impulse, she has already secured her father's blessing. He promises to be her shield, knowing that the Lu family won't let their meal ticket walk away without a fight.
I don't need a savior, but having Xie Zhao in my corner makes the coming war a lot more interesting. He sees the woman behind the general, and for the first time, I'm not fighting alone.
The divorce is written, but the Earl has more traps. As a new conspiracy brews, will Jinyue's father be enough to save her freedom?
这到底是怎么了？大嫂怎么会突然要求归还嫁妆？她以前不是言听计从、百依百顺的吗？
The divorce papers are ready, but the Lu family isn't letting their golden goose fly away so easily. They've gathered in the main hall, nursing their bruised egos, and plotting how to keep Jinyue's massive dowry within their grasp.
They think I'm still the same girl who obeyed their every whim for 5 years. They have no idea that the woman who returned from the border doesn't take orders she gives them. My father's support is coming, and their little family misfortune is about to get a lot worse.
今晚家宴，让风金月喝下片刻。
The Lu women resort to a mind-clouding poison. The invitation to the Hongmen banquet arrives at Jinyue's courtyard. It's a trap so obvious it's almost insulting, but Jinyue knows that avoiding the snake only gives it more time to strike.
My maid is terrified, begging me not to go, but hiding won't solve anything. If the Lu family wants to put on a show, I'll be the lead actress. I want to see exactly how far they're willing to go to steal what belongs to me.
这鸿门宴才有意思。
The banquet begins with forced smiles and heavy pause. The Lu family is practically vibrating with excitement, watching Jinyue's cup like hawks waiting for a kill.
They keep insisting the wine is mild and that I won't get drunk. The desperation in Lu Qingyao's voice is almost funny. She thinks she's being subtle, but she's practically begging me to swallow her poison.
大嫂，这酒柔和得很，喝不醉的。再说了，这一夜啊，可长着呢。
Lu Qingyao raises her glass, offering a toast that drips with fake admiration. She calls Jinyue a role model, all while waiting for the drug to take effect.
She's laying it on thick, praising my military service while trying to ruin my life. I'll play along for now. I want her to feel the triumph right before I pull the rug out from under her feet.
我敬大嫂是我朝第一个女将军，是天下女子的楷模。
But the poison doesn't find its intended target. Instead of Jinyue falling into a stupor, it's Lu Mingyuan who begins to lose control, his face flushing with a heat he can't explain.
Look at him. My husband is sweating and panting like a dog in the sun. The poison they brewed for me is currently burning through his own system. It seems the Lu family's aim is as bad as their morals.
The drug is potent and unforgiving. In his delirium, Lu Mingyuan mistakes his own sister for his wife, creating a scene of absolute depravity in the middle of the family dinner.
The room has turned into a circus. Lu Qingyao is screaming, trying to push her own brother off her. This is the noble family that looked down on me for being crude? They're doing a fine job of ruining themselves without any help from me.
As the Lu family scrambles to hide the evidence of their disaster, Jinyue retreats to the shadows to confirm what she already knew. Her loyal maid had been one step ahead of the snakes.
Ruanxiu overheard their little plan and swapped the wine pots before the first course was even served. They tried to drug a general and ended up drugging their own heir. Now, the real show is about to begin.
我听见了他们谈话，偷偷调换了酒壶顺序，否则中招的便是姑娘了。
The morning sun brings no relief for the Lu mama. Lu Mingyuan is caught in a compromising position with not one, but two maids. A scandal that will be the talk of the capital by noon.
I walked into that room to find him groveling and the maids shaking. 2 women in one night? My husband is certainly efficient when he's out of his mind. He's destroyed his reputation, and he doesn't even remember doing it.
这怎么了？这二人犯了何事啊？
Feng Jinyue tries to play the victim, hoping Jinyue will kick the maids out in a fit of jealousy. But Jinyue isn't interested in playing her games. She has a much more expensive punishment in mind.
She wanted me to do her dirty work and take the blame for being a jealous wife. Instead, I'm forcing Lu Mingyuan to take them both as concubines. If he wants a harem, he can pay for it and deal with the internal warfare. I have a real job to do.
不然，这还能如何？啊，我还要当值，我就先走了。
Escaping the stench of the Lu manor, Jinyue finds herself on patrol with Prince Ning. Xie Zhao doesn't just see a subordinate. He sees the woman who has been fighting a war on two fronts.
Patrolling the streets with Xie Shao feels like being back at the border, simple, honest, and safe. He asks if I'm alright at the Earl's manor. For the first time in a long time, I feel like someone actually cares about the answer.
伯父今日情况可还好？
In the quiet moments of their patrol, the professional distance between the prince and the general begins to vanish. Xie Zhao isn't interested in politics or alliances anymore, he's interested in her.
He told me he doesn't want just any princess. He wants me. My heart skipped a beat, but I have a war to finish before I can even think about a throne. I need to make a clean break from the Lu family first.
可我想娶的王妃只有你。
The peace is shattered by Luo Yuhuan, whose jealousy leads her into the path of a runaway carriage. Jinyue saves her life, but the spoiled girl is more interested in insults than gratitude.
I pulled her back from the brink of death, and her first instinct was to bark at me. I told her if she's that miserable being saved by me, she's more than welcome to go back and try dying again. I don't have time for ungrateful brats.
让王爷再救你一把。你敢嘲笑我？
Xie Zhao finally loses his patience and has his cousin dragged away, but the girl's parting glare is full of venom. She isn't finished with Jinyue yet.
She's fuming, and I know she'll be back with more schemes. But if she thinks she's a match for a woman who just survived the Lu family's poison and a 5-year war, she's in for a very rude awakening. The battle for my freedom is just getting started.
我要诅咒你！
满月之期就要到了，我搜空府库，拿出自己积攒多年的私银，还是远远不够。
The 15-day deadline for the dowry repayment is looming over the Lu family like a guillotine. The once proud Earl's manor is now a hollow shell, its treasury bled dry by years of greed and mismanagement.
I watched them scramble from the shadows. My mother-in-law is practically begging her children to cough up their own savings to cover the theft. It's a pathetic sight, seeing the noble Lu family reduced to counting copper coins.
Lu Qingyao plots a public disgrace for Jinyue.
过几天是我家老夫人的大寿，风金月作为我的大嫂理应出席。
Lu Mingyuan finally caves, choosing his family's reputation over the woman he once swore to protect. The trap is set, and the bait is a simple invitation to a family feast. While his family plots in the dark, Lu Mingyuan tries to use emotional blackmail to stop me from demanding my money back. He actually has the nerve to talk about the sanctity of marriage after everything he's done.
He asked if I have any regard for our marriage. I almost laughed in his face. He's the one who brought a mistress into our home and stole my father's hard-earned wealth. Now he wants to play the victim because I'm holding him accountable.
你就非要如此狠心绝情相逼吗？你就不念半点夫妻之情？
I told him clearly, I'm just taking back what's mine. If he thinks that's cruel, he's in for a very rude awakening in 2 days.
The atmosphere in my courtyard is a mix of tension and excitement. My loyal servants are already packing, ready to leave this den of vipers the moment the debt is settled.
Ruanxiu is even more eager to leave than I am. She's seen how these people treat me. I told her to be patient. Once I have my dowry in hand, I'm demanding a divorce. I won't spend another night under this roof once I'm free.
等拿到了嫁妆，就立刻跟他们提和离，早些离开这个侯府。
The Li family banquet is a sea of silk and fake smiles. As the first female general of the dynasty, my presence is a thorn in the side of the noble ladies who prefer their women quiet and submissive.
Lu Qingyao was acting like my biggest fan, introducing me to everyone as a role model. I could see the malice dancing in her eyes. She wants me to enjoy this peak before she drags me into the mud.
风金月，你且得意吧，会有你哭的时候。
Luo Yuhuan, ever the spoiled brat, tries to show off her palace-gifted hair ornament to humble me. She thinks her connection to the Empress makes her untouchable.
She's bragging about a trinket while I have chests of rewards personally bestowed by the Emperor for my service at the border. I didn't even have to raise my voice to shut her down. A simple mention of my own Imperial gifts was enough to turn her face red with envy.
确实很明智，跟前些日子圣上赏赐我的那一箱子一模一样。
The trap finally springs. After a clumsy maid spills wine on my dress, Lu Qingyao leads me to a side room to change. The air inside is heavy with the sweet, cloying scent of knockout smoke.
I recognize the smell instantly. Battlefield experience has its perks. Lu Qingyao didn't even hide her face once she thought I was drugged. She brought in a filthy servant, planning to ruin my reputation in the most disgusting way possible.
不肯与我大哥同房，你这卑鄙下流的夫君。
She leaves with a triumphant smirk, unaware that the woman she left behind is far from unconscious. The Lu and Li families gather outside the side room, led by a concerned mother-in-law. They burst through the door, ready to witness my downfall and justify their divorce.
The look on their faces was worth more than all my lost dowry. Instead of me, they found their own precious Lu Qingyao in the arms of that servant. I had simply swapped places with her while she was busy gloating.
偷情的人怎么变成青瑶了？
The scandal is undeniable. Lu Qingyao, caught in her own web, tries to point the finger at me, screaming about a frame-up. But the evidence is literally wrapped around her.
I walked into the room as calm as a summer breeze. Lu Mingyuan looked like he'd seen a ghost. I didn't have to say much, the truth was already screaming from the bedsheets. She tried to destroy me, but she only destroyed herself.
是风金月，是他打晕了我，是他故意陷害我娘。
I simply told them. This was the very scheme she had planned for me. I just made sure she was the one who got to enjoy it.
The Li family wastes no time in distancing themselves from the disgrace. Li Xiao, disgusted by his wife's malice and infidelity, declares an immediate divorce in front of everyone.
Lu Qingyao begged and pleaded, but her husband wouldn't even look at her. He called her a witch, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. She's being kicked out of the Li family today, and the Lu family is forced to take back their ruined daughter.
我儿说的是，这样的毒妇不配做我李家的少夫人。今日便休她出门。
Back at the Lu manor, the family is in a frenzy. They think they can still bully me into a divorce on their terms, hoping to save what's left of their dignity.
They're shouting about casting me out. I had to correct them. It's not a divorce, it's an annulment. I'm wiping this marriage from the records as if it never happened. I'm the one who's done with them, not the other way around.
如今可不是他要休我，而是我要跟他和离。
The Lu family's arrogance finally hits a legal wall. I remind them that I'm not just a wife they can toss aside, I'm a commissioned officer of the Imperial court. Plotting against me isn't a family matter. It's a capital crime.
Prince Ning stepped in to back me up, and the color drained from Lu Mingyuan's face. Exile or the death penalty, those are the stakes now. Lu Qingyao is on the floor, begging for her life. The tables haven't just turned. I flipped the entire board.
哥，我不要掌心流放，你快救救我哥！
The Lu family crumbles as the law closes in. But for Jinyue, the real battle for the capital is just beginning.
小儿，若是他被告上官府，这丑事怕是遮掩不住了，李家也跟着丢脸啊！
The scandal at the Lai family banquet has reached a boiling point. Terrified that the disgrace will ruin their reputation and Lu Mingyuan's career, the Li family elders demand a private settlement to keep the shame behind closed doors.
I stood there, watching them scramble to protect their precious face. It's pathetic how quickly these noble families fold when their own interests are on the line.
Seeing their daughter-in-law's marriage crumble, the Lu family mother and son reveal their true, greedy nature. They shamelessly plot to keep Lu Qingyao's dowry, which they stole from Jinyue, to pay off their mounting debts.
They actually had the nerve to argue over my money while their daughter was being cast out. Lu Mingyuan even tried to play the bitter enemy card, as if we weren't already past the point of no return.
青瑶当年嫁入李家，用的是风金月的嫁妆天妆。如今你们不肯归还青瑶的嫁妆，我们便无法归还风金月。今日之事，便平不了。
As the divorce papers are prepared, Lu Mingyuan is haunted by the memories of his own deception. Years ago, he used honeyed words and false promises of freedom to trick the young general into marriage.
I remember that day. He looked me in the eyes and promised I could soar like a free bird. I was young and foolish enough to believe that a man like him could handle a woman with a sword.
我向你保证，你若嫁我，我此生只你一人，绝不负你。
The weight of his betrayal finally settles on Lu Mingyuan. He realizes that by hiding his second marriage and child, He has lost the only woman who truly brought honor to his house.
He's crying now? Too little, too late. The shackles are off, and for the first time in years, I can breathe without the stench of his lies howling the room.
他回来了，可为什么会变成现在这样？到底是哪里做错了？是我没有瞒着他另娶生子，一切会不会不一样？
The Lu family is stunned to discover that Jinyue isn't just a discarded wife, she has powerful allies in Prince Ning and the Luo family. Lu Qingyao, now a divorcee herself, spirals into a jealous rage.
She hates me because I survived her traps. She hates me because the very people she admires are the ones standing by my side. Let her scream. Her envy is the best music I've heard all day.
凭什么？凭什么好事都让风金月占尽了，还害我被休弃出门？
To celebrate her newfound freedom, Jinyue heads to the finest restaurant in the capital with her friends. The atmosphere is electric as they toast to the end of a toxic era.
Luo Yuhuan wanted to fleece me, but I didn't mind. A divorce this satisfying deserves a feast that the whole city will talk about. We're not just eating, we're burying the past.
说得不错，和离这样的大喜事，的确要吃最好的席面庆祝。
Amidst the celebration, Prince Ning Xiezhao makes a mysterious request. He asks for Jinyue's divorce papers, promising a gift that will ensure her victory is absolute.
Xie Zhao always has a plan. I gave him the papers without a second thought. If he says he has a gift for me, I know it's going to be something the Lu family will never recover from.
金月，搬的和离书给我。
The Lu manor falls into chaos as the patriarch collapses.
我与风金月和离了，你去把他东西收拾出来，明日交还给他。
Jinyue returns with an army to reclaim her property.
既然他们不讲道理，我们也不必讲。动手！
Inside the manor, Jinyue spots Lu Qingyao wearing a jade bracelet from her own dowry. She calls out the theft in front of everyone, leaving the Lu family with no room for excuses.
That bracelet was a gift from my father. Seeing it on her wrist made my blood boil. I described every unique mark on that jade until Lu Mingyuan had no choice but to make her take it off.
别的我或许认不出来，但这只玉镯，通体银白，缀有一点糖色，是独一无二的，我不可能认错。
The final confrontation turns into a brutal reality check. Jinyue reveals the ultimate secret. Lu Mingyuan's prestigious position was built entirely on the military achievements he stole from her and her father.
I leaned in and whispered the truth. He's a fraud, a thief who climbed the ranks on my blood and sweat. I told him to hold on tight to that seat, because I'm coming for that too.
我只是提醒你，你靠我和我爹的军功得来的势力，你可得做得稳当些。
As the wagons are loaded, Jinyue leaves the Lu manor completely empty. She even orders her servants to take the broken furniture for firewood, leaving the traders with nothing but bare walls.
Ruanxiu was right, not a single thread. I walked out of that gate without looking back, heading home to the general's mansion where I belong. Tonight, we drink to a new beginning.
好，回将军府。今天晚上在将军府啊，我请大家喝酒吃席。
The dowry parade turns the Lu family into a laughingstock.
我们将军与东平伯府陆明远和离，今日搬驾着回将军府。
The Lu family is stripped of their wealth and their pride, but Lu Mingyuan still clings to his stolen office. With the public now watching his every move and Prince Ning's gift yet to be revealed, will Jinyue's next strike finally send him to the gallows? The real reckoning in the Imperial court has only just begun. Would you like to see how Jinyue dismantles his career in the next chapter?
吴叔、田婶，我回来了。
Finally, I am back. The general's mansion is the only place in this capital where the air doesn't reek of Lu Mingyuan's lies and betrayal. It's time to reclaim my life.
After 5 years of blood and sand on the border, Feng Jinyue returns to her family home. The loyal servants, who have guarded this empty manor, welcome their young mistress with tears of joy. While Jinyue prepares to celebrate her freedom, the news of her homecoming feast spreads like wildfire. Luo Yuhuan, the arrogant noblewoman who thinks she's above everyone, is fuming because she wasn't invited.
I wanted a quiet night with my true allies, but some people just can't stand being left out of the spotlight. Luo Yuhuan is already sharpening her tongue.
真是倒霉催的，这小姑奶奶怎么也在啊？我等负责传信而已，其他都不知道。
Luo Yuhuan crashes the banquet anyway, hiding her spite behind a mask of forced politeness. She claims to have brought a special gift, but the tension in the room is thick enough to cut with a sword.
She walked in like she was doing me a favor. I knew that box held nothing but trouble, but as the host, I had to keep my blade sheathed and my smile ready.
这还差不多。给贺礼。
The gift is a jade-carved caterpillar, a petty attempt to mock Jinyue's status, or perhaps to scare her. But a woman who has survived the battlefield isn't going to flinch at a bug, even a jeweled one.
She really thought a little insect would rattle me. I've slept in trenches filled with scorpions. This was nothing more than a pathetic display of her own insecurity.
时常上山下海，豺狼虎豹我都不怕，又岂会怕这小小的虫子？
Prince Ning Xiezhao steps in with a sharp wit, turning the insult into a metaphor for Jinyue's transformation. He reminds everyone that a caterpillar is just a butterfly waiting to happen.
Then it was Xie Zhao's turn to present his gift. He didn't bring trinkets or silk. He brought the one thing that would truly break the chains the Lu family tried to keep on me.
他想的真是周到，如此一来，往后就不怕陆家借此生事，也能堵住他人闲言碎语。多谢王爷。
With the royal seal, Jinyue's divorce is now absolute. No one in the capital, not even the Earl's manor, can challenge her freedom now. Xie Zhao has effectively silenced the gossip mongers. The prince presents a rhino whip to honor the warrior.
这是犀牛鞭，材质坚韧，适宜你平时佩戴使用。
As the moon rises and the wine flows, the atmosphere turns quiet and intimate. Xie Zhao finally drops his guard, confessing the feelings he has harbored since their days at the border.
The wine made everything feel like a dream. When he asked me to be his princess, my heart did something it hadn't done in years. It felt hope. I told him everything I felt. My walls completely gone.
那你愿意做我的王妃吗？
I woke up the next morning with a heavy head and a sinking feeling. My maid's gossip only made it worse. I was carried back by the prince himself, in front of everyone.
At the office, Xie Zhao doesn't miss the chance to tease her. He plays the victim, claiming she offended him during her drunken stupor, watching her squirm with guilt.
He was enjoying this way too much. I was ready to offer him gold or wine as compensation, but the look in his eyes told me he was looking for a very different kind of payment.
醒来确实什么事情都不记得。我若是冒犯到了王爷，还请见谅。
The truth comes out as Xie Zhao repeats her confession.
I wanted to vanish. Did I really say I liked him? My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it would break through my armor. There was no taking those words back now.
你说你喜欢我，
Despite her status as a divorcee, Xie Zhao makes a vow that leaves the entire court stunned. He promises to marry only her and never take a concubine, a pledge of total loyalty.
A prince promising to never look at another woman? It was a vow I never expected to hear in this life. His sincerity was the final blow to my doubts.
你是王爷，娶亲应当要娶贤良淑德的大家闺秀。我呢，粗鄙的武将。再说了，我现在还是合理之身。
While Jinyue finds a new future, Lu Mingyuan is drowning in the consequences of his greed. Impeached and fined, his household is falling apart as his mistress turns on him over their shrinking wealth.
The man who once thought he could control me is now fighting over pennies with a woman who only loved his money. Their misery is the perfect ending to their pathetic story.
被御史台参奏弹劾，身上大怒，罚了我1年的俸禄，并警告若再有失职之处，便革职边关。
With Jinyue's new engagement and Lu Mingjuan's career in ruins, the tables have completely turned. But will the Lu family accept their defeat, or will they launch one final, desperate attack? The battle for the capital is far from over.
武后让儿臣娶妃，儿臣现在有了心仪之人，怎又不喜？
Jinyue's new beginning faces a royal storm from the Empress.
那儿臣便今生不娶。这么多年，我也该知道儿臣的决心。
The Empress slams her hand down, her voice trembling with rage. To her, a divorced woman is a stain on the royal lineage. But Xie Zhao isn't the obedient son she remembers. He is a man who has seen death and knows exactly what is worth living for.
He stood his ground against the most powerful woman in the land. Every word he spoke was a shield for me, proving that his love isn't just a fleeting fancy, but a vow written in stone.
The capital turns deadly as Luo Yuhuan vanishes from a temple.
I looked at the facts. No struggle, no ransom note, and only young women are missing. This isn't about money. These predators are hunting for something far more specific. They want beauty, and they want it silenced.
Xie Zhao's eyes darken as he listens to the analysis. The pattern is clear, but the culprit is a ghost. The investigation leads back to one place, Juhua Temple, a sanctuary that has become a hunting ground.
定这不是图财，定就是图人了。
The scale of the crisis grows by the hour. Even the Lu family, Jinyue's former tormentors, are now victims. Lu Qingyao has been missing for 3 days, and the trail for every single girl ends at the same temple gates.
Liu Qingyao, even that snake got caught in this net. It seems these bandits don't care about family status or virtue, they only care about the face. Every missing girl is a piece of a puzzle I need to solve before it's too late.
这般巧，
The only way to catch a wolf is to offer it a lamb. I told Xie Zhao I would go in as bait. He nearly lost his mind at the suggestion. But we both knew the magistrate's men were too clumsy to find the hidden paths of this temple.
Xie Zhao refuses to let her risk her life, but Jinyue's resolve is like tempered steel. She isn't just a noble lady, she is a commander who doesn't ask her soldiers to do what she won't do herself.
不行，
The next morning, the fierce General Feng is gone, replaced by a delicate pilgrim seeking a blessing for love. With Xuegui disguised as her driver, she steps into the quiet, incense-filled trap of Juhua Temple.
I traded my armor for silk and my sword for a prayer bead. Every step I took into that hall felt like walking into a spider's web. I could feel eyes on me, measuring my worth like livestock at a market.
这就是九华寺。今日我定能求个好姻缘。
The abbot smiles, a gesture that should be holy but feels oily. He hands her a fortune stick, claiming her destiny is right before her eyes. It's a clever game using the hope of marriage to lure women into a nightmare.
He told me my perfect match was ready. I wanted to laugh in his face. My only match today is with the blade I've hidden under my carriage seat. I took his blessed sachet, knowing it was the mark for my kidnapping.
我就知道我的缘分要到了。多谢主持。
The trap springs on the lonely mountain road. Bandits emerge from the shadows, their blades gleaming. Xuegui plays his part perfectly, falling to his knees in terror as the helpless ladies cower in the carriage.
I watched through the curtain as they surrounded us. My fingers itched to snap their necks, but I had to wait. I needed them to take me to the heart of their lair, where the other girls were being held.
雪华，再莫使我一招要你的狗命！
I stepped out, making my voice tremble just enough to sound like a frightened socialite. I offered them gold, pretending that my only concern was my own skin. The bandit leader took the bait, thinking he'd caught a prize pigeon.
The bandits waste no time, tying up the captives and dragging them toward the Black Wolf stockade. They have no idea that the woman they just bound is the most dangerous predator they have ever encountered.
放心，不杀。兄弟们，都给我绑起来带回去！
Inside the cage, the atmosphere was thick with despair. And of course, Lu Qingyao couldn't help but be herself, even in chains. She tried to mock me, but I wasn't in the mood for her petty drama.
Jinyue's sharp command silences the bickering girls. She isn't there to argue, she is there to observe. She notices the layout, the guard rotations, and the sheer number of victims waiting to be sold like cargo.
必须的，只差一个就可以交货了。这老实点，否则有你们的苦头吃。
Jinyue questions Yuan and discovers a dark kidnapping pattern.
你们都是去九华寺求姻缘，得了住持给你们的姻缘带之后，被掳到这里来的。
Jinyue leans in close to the weeping Yuan, her voice a low, steady anchor in the storm. She reveals the secret that keeps their hope alive. Xie Zhao is already on his way, and the rescue is only a heartbeat away.
I had to keep them quiet. If Yuan screamed with joy, the guards would be on us in seconds. I told her to wait for the signal. My lord is coming, and when he arrives, this stockade will burn.
果然如沙威所说，被掳的都是妙龄美女子。只是，她怎么？
Outside the gates, Xie Zhao arrives like a shadow of death. He doesn't wait for negotiations or surrender. With a single flick of his hand, his men move in, silencing the sentries before they can even draw breath.
I heard the first muffled cry from outside. That was the sound of my rescue. Xie Zhao is here, and he's not just coming for the minister's daughter, he's coming for me. It's time to stop playing the victim.
再大声一点，外面那些山匪全都听。
Jinyue launches a signal flare to call in the army.
喂，是风打的小虎的。大当家的，不好了，大当家，大当家，有人攻打咱黑狼寨。
The signal flare wasn't just a light in the sky, it was a death sentence for the Black Wolf stockade. Inside, the bandits are still celebrating their easy catch, oblivious to the storm about to break over their heads.
I watched the panic spread like wildfire the moment the first soldier was spotted. These wolves were about to realize they hadn't kidnapped a helpless lady, but invited a dragon into their den.
As the bandit chief scrambles to move his human cargo, the helpless pilgrim finally sheds her disguise. Feng Jinyue doesn't need a sword to command the room. Her presence alone is enough to freeze the blood of every criminal in sight.
I didn't give them a second to breathe. I moved through the chaos, directing my men to seal every exit. This stockade was no longer a fortress, it was a cage, and I was the one holding the key.
The bandit leader tries a desperate gamble, reaching for the nearest girl to use as a shield. He thinks a hostage will buy him time, but he's never faced a general who has spent years hunting far more dangerous prey.
He thought he could bargain with lives. I showed him that the only thing he'd be taking today was a one-way trip to the dungeon. My blade was out before he could even blink, ending his reign of terror with a single strike.
你居然会武功！你到底是谁？你
Xie Zhao finds a wounded Jinyue after the battle.
你受伤了？
Yuan watches the prince's devotion to Jinyue with understanding.
我感觉他们好般配。
Back in the safety of the palace, Yuan does something no one expected. Instead of complaining about her ordeal, she champions the woman who saved her, forcing the empress to acknowledge Jinyue's worth.
I didn't save Yuan for gratitude, but her voice in the empress's ear was a weapon I hadn't planned for. She turned my survival into a political victory, making it impossible for the court to ignore my service.
唉，可是吓死我了！幸亏表哥营救及时，不然我就被那贼人掳到北地去，就再也见不到姑母了。
The emperor sees an opportunity in the chaos. A hero needs a reward, and Yuan is ready to name the price that will change the fate of the royal family forever. She points directly at the man standing right beside them.
The court is a different kind of battlefield. Here, a marriage decree can be more powerful than 1,000 soldiers. I felt Xie Zhao's gaze on me, steady and unwavering, as the trap I'd been avoiding for years finally closed around us, but this time, I didn't want to escape.
你的意思是让朕赐婚？那你觉得谁人合适？
The moment of truth arrives. The woman in the capital, labeled a tainted divorcee, is summoned to hear the emperor's final judgment. The air in the hall is thick with anticipation as the eunuch unfurls the golden scroll.
I knelt on the cold floor, prepared for gold or land, but the words that echoed through the hall changed my world. I wasn't just a general anymore. I was to be a princess, the ultimate slap in the face to everyone who tried to bury me.
贤良端方，品貌出众，朕与皇后公闻之甚悦，如与宁王情投意合，堪称良配。特将汝许配宁王为王妃。
While Jinyue rises to the pinnacle of power, the Lu family sinks into the bitter realization of what they threw away. The woman they treated like a servant is now the highest lady in the land, and their own ruin is now complete.
I can almost hear Lu Tingyu's screams from across the city. She spent so much time trying to destroy my face and my reputation, only to watch me ascend to a throne she can never touch. Her envy is the only dowry I need.
贱人！我被羞还被毁了容，怎么就做了女王妃？
Xie Zhao confesses his long-held love for Jinyue.
你是从什么时候开始喜欢我的？
As they recall their first meeting, a chilling realization settles in. Xie Zhao wasn't just a passerby that day. He was a silent witness to her most vulnerable moment, keeping a secret that spans years.
He remembered my wounds better than I did. But if he was there all along, why did he wait until I was broken and betrayed to finally step into the light? What else is he hiding behind that loyal, loving gaze? The truth might be more dangerous than the lies I've already survived.